Greetings, Ezreal the Scribe. Welcome to my channel. I'm here today on April 23rd at Washington Park in Oregon, and here to talk about uncertainty. What does that mean? Uncertainty can have many meanings depending on the application, such as uncertainty in relationships, uncertainty in jobs, uncertainty in the economy, uncertainty in life. And that can apply to spirituality as well. Uncertainty in your magic, your spirituality path, what lies beyond, your concern with death, your concern with life, your concern with everything that you have no control over, but you strive to control it. And in that, we will discuss. So if you're interested in hearing more, stay tuned. So welcome back, and I'm here to discuss about uncertainty. And there's a discussion today in business that the economy in certain areas of the country, including where I'm at in Oregon, is having some downturn. And that could be concerning for everyone. With companies laying off people to reduce costs, to other companies downsizing in other ways. And so it leaves people in uncertainty and what they should do in life. And then that's one aspect of it. And then another thing I hear about is people uncertain about their life path and what they should do. Should they move? Should they stay? I like that song, Should I Go or Should I Stay? It's like so much uncertainty, and we can look at it many ways. We can look at uncertainty with dread, we can look at it with fear, we can look at uncertainty with unsatisfaction with life and depression, and go down a downward spiral. Or you can shift your perspective and look at uncertainty with a childlike view of not knowing, like a view of an adventure ahead. It's so uncertain that I have no clue what that path around the corner looks like, but it's exciting that we get to travel on it. And that uncertainty of discovering what lies beyond in many ways, and enjoying the present to get there, enjoying the ride, so to speak, of each day as a new experience, each day as a new opportunity for growth, success, or each day is just a new experience in life, a new breath, a new chance to do something different and make different choices. If you want to move, move. If you want to stay, stay. If you want to go, go. That's the present situation. Many people say, be present. It's kind of like the yoga culture. And there's something to that, being present and understanding your current situation. Because if your mind is in the past, all you can think about is the past. You're not moving forward. You're stagnation. You're standstill. And if you're too far in the future daydreaming about what could happen, you're missing opportunities to make things happen. And next thing you know, a year go by, or a year or months go by, and you haven't made any changes, and nothing has happened. And so that uncertainty becomes at that point, it becomes your own response. It's your own choice to have uncertainty. And so it goes back to, you know, not knowing what's around the corner, but making the best of what you have right now in front of you, and making choices upon that. Now, with every choice, there's risk. That's the same with investing. You know, you don't know what you're investing in, but the fact that you're making choices, you're making actions, that's movement. And you know, making right choices is having that inner reflection of what you've learned from the past, but not having to dwell on it. So you're saying, Ezreal, what does that mean? I thought you just said you got to stay present. You got to stay in the present to make choices. But you have to learn from your past mistakes. You have to learn from the trials and errors. You have to learn from everything that you've gone through to make different choices for your future. And that takes a little bit of introspection. And that is all within the present. Not too much introspection, but a tiny bit of reflection. And then making that right decision to move down an avenue. And sometimes the best answer is to not answer at all. Take time to rest, take time to... That reflection might take longer than just like a 30-minute coffee break. It might be a couple days, shoot. It might be a couple months if you need time to rest and integrate to make a different choice in your life. Some experiences in life can be painful. I know for myself, I was doing some spiritual stuff non-stop, and I got so burnt out that things would happen, my knees would... I took it as a sign, I had a knee pain that it hurt to walk. So all I could do was just lay down and rest. And it lasted for 3 or 4 days, and I couldn't do anything else other than just chill. I'm like, all right, universe, I take it as a sign. I need to rest. I need to chill. And so things like that. But that goes back to what I'm talking about as making choices and in the present. But uncertainty, usually stems around fear of loss, fear of control, or fear of lack of control, fear of worry and concern about what's going on around the corner. And if you look at it with childlike eyes again, it can be excitement again. And then the work becomes fun, like Mary Poppins, and then life becomes a game. But then and that's just kind of like the current everyday things, but there is a lot of uncertainty in politics and life. And since nowadays, and well, forever pretty much, society has been ruled by guidelines that are set by politics. It's very important now more than ever, like in the 60s, 70s, and to really focus on what's happening, because people's lives are getting changed. Many people's lives are getting the rights taken away. And for that, we have to be very adamant about speaking up to those that can make differences, make changes, supporting those that are sticking up for the fight, because not all of us can do so. Not all of us have some political or legal stance to do so. But as a citizen of your country, of where you live, you do have your human right to stand up. As Bob Marley said, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. It's like that. We can counter that uncertainty, that there's people out there fighting for this cause to have your rights and to live it and to keep existing. And a lot of people are losing things, though, that we're not always, you know, you might hate me for this, but some things are given that should not be given. And I say that because as humans who are out here to survive, our ancestors fought what they could to get ahead, to be successful, to have a living. And a lot of people take advantage of, there's a lot of people that, disabled, have many issues that can't, do things that a lot of people can do. And, I'm happy I live in a country that there's a funding for that, for those people, that can't see or can't walk or can't talk, different things that, where you can't do the normal day-to-day like work tasks. And then there's a lot of people that take advantage and have all the inalienable human capabilities, but they cast it away. But again, that's their choice, that's their intention. And and I say all this because if you're one of those individuals and you're not taking advantage of life and you have uncertainty, all you have to do is find something you enjoy, find something you love to do. If it's drawing, draw, and make, go on the corner somewhere and try to sell it, or find a means to sell your art, your creativity. And if you love to write, or if you have all these great ideas in your head, but you're not a writer, but you're not like a producer where you feel like comfortable doing that, you can always speak it out. You can always put it all out on a recorder or some device. Then find somebody that is a writer, get with them, share, see if they will help you, help them, and together you could write a book. It's not impossible. And uncertainty in our lives often is our focus is shifted away from things we love to do, and our focus is shifted away from things we should be doing, and building upon ourselves, and finding ways to be healthy, and finding ways to share our passions and joys in life, and really getting into it. And things like that are important. And I think once you shift your focus to that, the uncertainty will always exist, but you'll be able to peacefully walk amongst the chaos. And I used to think that was the end goal, but I find it's more of like a foundation of being able to peacefully walk amongst the chaos and expressing your passions. And then from there you build upon it, and you find yourself in a path of an adventure, and you regain that childlike sight of uncertainty is exciting. It's an adventure. I have no clue what's going to happen, but you know what? The next day is a new day. Got a bad day today, who cares? Tomorrow's a new day, new opportunity. 40 degrees and raining and cold, who cares? Who cares? It's a new day. I can find a tree to sit under and watch the rain and drizzle. It don't matter. But with all that said, when it comes to spirituality and uncertainty, a lot of it has to do around fear. and fear is a mind killer. It controls and can cripple you spiritually if you allow it to do so. Because you never want to fear things that you work with or fear things that you do, because it gives power, your own personal power, to whatever it is you fear. You know, I said it in another video, and this is a Cruise Shadows quote. There's nothing under heaven you cannot overcome, which means there's nothing, you know, spiritually that you cannot overcome. And nothing can really overcome you spiritually unless you allow it to do so. That fear, that giving away of self, giving away of personal power of self to another being or another entity or another thing. And I say that, and then you know, another, and that's technically the traditional thing. Now, of course, there's plant medicines and other, you know, concoctions created by people that can control you, yada yada yada. But I'm talking about the traditional sense of spirituality and fear and all that jazz and stuff. And so with that said, I hope you've enjoyed this little video on uncertainty, and know that things are rough now. That's a straightforward. The economy is going crazy. We've seen this though. 70s was crazy. Certain times in the 80s was crazy. 90s were crazy. There's always going to be ups and downs in the economic flow. And there's always going to be craziness in the world. That's just the nature of chaos. But if you can ground and center and find your personal focus of your present situation, then yes, you too can walk peacefully amongst the chaos. If you like this video, hit and you want to hear more, hit like and subscribe. I'm Ezreal the Scribe. Hope you enjoyed this, and see you next time.